All right, good evening, everybody. So tonight we're going to be looking at the Lum Power 1000 portable power station from Lum Pal. So Lum Pal reached out to me a month and a half ago about taking a look at their portable power station. And I've been looking at this, just testing out different aspects of it, checking out the efficiency, seeing how well it's going to work as really a portable power station. So first off, in the box, you get the manual, you get the power station, and then you've got the charging brick. And the manual is pretty basic. I mean, it's a portable power station. You plug something in and it works. It gives you all the details. It's actually designed for the three different models they have, the 300, the 600, and the 1000. It gives you the specifications of each. You know, it tells you how it all supposed to work, and it also goes through a handful of kind of custom, unique things about this power station that you don't see in a lot of these smaller power stations. So this is the Lum Power 1000. You can see it's got 1,000 watt-hour capacity. It is IP53 rated with a weight of just under 20 pounds. You can see we've got a handful of different input types, and then also we've got multiple output types from USB to DC to AC output. The AC output has a maximum output of 1,200 watts with a peak output of 1,500 watts. The manual tells you what you need to know. I mean, there are some misspellings and some grammar issues in it, which Lum Pal's been made aware of, and they're actually working on a revision which gives you more details and clears up a lot of the, I believe, translation issues. So this power station, I mean, it's about the size of a, I don't know, it's probably a little bit bigger than a shoebox. And really, I mean, it's just under 20 pounds, so it's really portable. It's very easy to store in a closet, you know, throwing it in the truck when I was going places. It was very easy to be able to grab and haul around. If we take a look at the front of this display, we see we've got two inputs. We've got a PV input and a DC barrel input. We've got two barrel outputs, 6 amp and a 12 volt. We've got our 10 amp cigarette lighter output. We've got 3 standard USB ports and a USB-C. The standard USB ports can handle up to 2.4 amps apiece. And then this USB-C port is a unique port because it can do input and output up to 100 watts. And then we've got our 2 AC inputs on the side. Along the top, we've got our control buttons. Press and hold to turn on each section. The button will light up. We turn on USB, and then AC. And AC, you see that F60. That tells you the frequency that the inverter is set to, so 60 hertz. And you can see our time to empty is adjusting because now we are inverting power. Then they also have an LED on the back. And that LED has 4 different settings. Standard, bright, strobe, and SOS. The display on this is actually very intuitive. It's easy to understand exactly what's going on. The fact that your buttons light up with what's turned on and you have your display helps out significantly, so at a glance you can quickly see what's going on. So you can see under load here, we've got 135 watt draw. I'm pulling approximately 10 amps out of this right now. Time to empty, 7.4 hours. We're currently at 100%. And if I wanted to charge this at the same time, I can plug this into the DC port. And so now this screen is going to rotate and switch between the input and the output information. So time to empty and output power, and then time to full and input power. And then over here, you can see that it is blinking. signifying that it is being charged. I was actually very surprised when I picked this up, how sturdy it is. And they have actually designed this to be so durable that you could actually use this as something to step on top of. It actually can support the weight of 173 pounds. I did step on this, to make sure that it could support my weight, and it supported it fine. I just kind of found it awkward to step on it because you don't really want to step on the handle and then your feet either are pushing buttons or you got to straddle it this way. So, I mean, it's a great idea. In a pinch, it would work for you, but I don't see a lot of people actually using this as a step. But it is a very rugged design. Now, this is actually my second unit. The first unit that I received actually had a problem with the fan in the back. The fan was grinding or rubbing up against something when it was running. But I contacted Lum Power right away, and I think it was really the next day they had the replacement sent to me. And they said that was the first time they'd ever experienced that. But that actually gave me an excuse to open this thing up too and take a look at the inside. So taking a look at the inside here, it does have lithium-ion NMC cells, and I was told that these cells are the same ones that are used in the Tesla battery packs. But the build quality on this, as you can see, was very nice, neat, and tidy. It's really all nice and compact inside this case. And I was able to tighten down whatever was loose regarding the fan, and when I tested it again later, I did not have that same noise coming from the fan. Now, the fact that I did have that fan problem did allow me to get a second one. And having that second one, it gave me the ability to test out one of the features that I had not seen in a lot of these smaller power stations. They're in some of the bigger ones, but not so much the smaller ones. And that is, these two power stations can actually be daisy-chained together. And it lets you double the capacity from 1,000 watt-hours to 2,000 watt-hours. And that can be done by taking any power cable like this, and on the back of these units, there's a paralleling port. So you end up popping the cap off of that parallel port, and you plug into one unit, and then you take the other end of your cable, and you're going to plug it into the AC output on your first unit. Turn on your AC on this one, turn on your AC on that one, and now the power from this unit will get used once this unit is depleted. So you'll use the AC output ports off of this unit, and you'll watch this counter go down, and when this reaches 0, it'll automatically start using power from this unit here. So I went and ran this through a battery of different tests, trying out what can it power, what can it run. So I ran, the standard coffee pot test, because if your power goes out, you gotta have your coffee in the morning. And it passed that with no problems. I grabbed my wife's Instapot for a meal one night and powered that because, if you lose power, gotta be able to eat, right? The USB ports work great. We actually took this camping, and I used this the entire time we were camping to actually recharge my phone, my tablet, my headset. No problem. I even took it outside and tried to run the miter saw off of it just to see if it would do it. And it fired right up. It allowed me to cut through a piece of wood. It kind of exceeded my expectations from just some of the different things that would be able to run. I went through and ran an efficiency test on this unit. I think I actually ended up running 3 of them. Each test, the unit outputted 890 watt-hours, which if you do the math, 890 watt-hours, that gives you about an 88 to 89% efficiency of this unit. So there's 3 different ways that you can recharge this unit. You can recharge it using the DC input from either the brick or from PV. You can recharge it using the cigarette lighter, or you can recharge using the USB-C. So the Power Brick recharges at around 140 watts. The PV has a built-in MPPT, which recharges at 150 watts. The car input is 100 watts, and then the USB-C is 100 watts as well. And you can actually use multiples of those to recharge at the same time. So if you use multiple options at the same time, if you used one of the DC, if you use the cigarette lighter and the USB-C, you could recharge this thing in about 2.8 hours. Not really the fastest charger in the world. If you use just the included wall charger, you're looking at 7 hours. So, I mean, it is a little slower charger. I did take this outside to test the PV side of it. If you want to recharge with PV, you do have to get this cable. It is not included with the unit. It has an MPPT range from 18 to 24 volts and then up to 150 watts of incoming power. I ended up hooking up two 100 watt panels in parallel, and I was able to actually pull in about 160 watts to recharge this. So all in all, I think this is a nice little unit. Like I said, I like the fact that it's portable. I mean, if you look at this compared to my DIY power station that I built, this thing is tiny compared to that huge beast that I made. So this is a whole lot easier to carry around. I think I even took it outside and used it to work on some of my solar panel connections when the sun went down. I turned on the light on the back, and that helped me see what I was doing. And I plugged in the heat gun to the front and was able to work on some conduit bending, all from this little power station. I didn't have to haul out extension cords, nothing. It was nice. I didn't have to shove the flashlight in my mouth so that I could see what I was doing. A couple drawbacks that I have seen. The output voltage on this seems to start around 110 volts, and then it reduces down to about 103 volts as it gets closer to zero. Lum Power says that they do that in order to extend the life of the batteries, and I've actually heard of other power stations doing that as well. Personally, I would rather see it up at the higher voltage of 120 volts and then downgrade down to 110 volts when you get close to zero. A lot of the inductive style loads don't respond well to the lower voltages. For instance, a box fan. I could easily see you trying to run a fan at night when your power goes out. The fan is actually going to spin slower the closer you get down to zero. So I plug this fan into the Lum Power. It's at 30% right now, and due to the voltage drop, the fan doesn't actually want to run on high, but the voltage is down to 102 volts. So we'll unplug it from here, and we will plug it into the wall. And now you hear the difference. The fan is actually spinning the way it's supposed to. And so if it was at that higher voltage to start and it dropped down to 110, then your fan speed would still be a lot faster, a lot higher. So a lot of those style loads, the motor-driven loads, are going to notice that difference. The resistive loads, plugging in your phone and charging stuff like that, the coffee pot, things like that, they're not going to notice the voltage change at all. When you parallel the units together, there's no real indication that you're paralleling the units. It would be nice if they stayed balanced together, but I wasn't expecting that to happen. So all in all, I think it's a nice little power station. I would encourage you that if you're looking for something in that 1,000-watt range, just for those, camping trips, for those occasional times that you might lose power at home, I'll leave a link in the description below for the Lum Power Series 1000. And then remember, they also do have the 300 and I believe the 600 series as well for even smaller applications. But with that, I'm going to let y'all go. So y'all stay safe, stay cool, and we'll catch up with you later.